This painting, unquestionably of a high-status woman, is generally accepted to be Queen Mary I, daughter of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon. It was released by Museums Sheffield. The portrait is no less than exquisitely detailed, with the subject adorned in Tudor kirtle and overgown, with a richly decorated red bodice. It is adorned with jewels, pearls, and embroidery, which upon closer inspection look almost as detailed as a photograph. However, if one casts their attention to her right hand, which, true to form, can be seen clutching a pair of tan leather gloves, a habit seen in more than one of her portraits, you will notice the hand appears to be deeply melanated. This peculiarly dark-colored appendage, however, is so expertly painted that one would be forgiven for mistaking it for the hand of a melanated, or indeed, black woman. Bizarrely, in contrast to this, her left hand shows none of the color, detail, or fidelity seen in the opposing hand, almost as though the dark-colored original hand had been hurriedly painted over by an artist unable to replicate the skill of the original painter. In support of this assertion, the undersleeve cuff, present beneath the wrist ruffles on her right hand, are entirely non-existent on her left hand. It's almost as though they have been hastily painted over. Now, naturally, logic would assert, surely there is another explanation. Perhaps the hand itself is gloved. However, you will note the subject has a pair of gloves in her possession, as was a habit of the sitter. So unless having a triad of gloves was custom, that would be the more far-fetched assumption. In addition, one can observe the skin-like texture of the hand, contrasts the leather-like texture of the gloves. And if perhaps uneven light is posited as the cause for this aberration, one can observe how evenly the lighting falls on the bodice. The portrait is centrally lit, and hence this is not the result of the hand being in any kind of shadow. It seems that every path of interrogation seems to draw us to the conclusion that the hand presented is the natural colored hand of the subject, and that the hand seems to be consistent with deeply melanated populations. I have provided a photo of an African hand for comparison. In addition to this, she seems to possess extraordinarily long arms and relatively broad shoulders, which is not very typical of modern European body plans. The hair of the subject is also visibly kinky, bearing a bizarrely afro-like texture that is not entirely befitting to her complexion and facial features. What do you think the reason for these features are? Do you think it's possible that this